Welcome back to 3-2 Brew. Today we are talking about a recap of our week 2 on the Project Goblin guide testing. I just want to lay down some ground rules first. I know that I stated this is going to be a 6-month project. I am reaching the brink of insanity when it comes to goblins. I'm going to say that the cap of this is going to be the beginning of March is when I will be making my final run with goblins for at least a very long time. I believe that if I look at the actual calendar, it should be March 1st is actually the last day that I'll be running goblins for a bit, and this project will conclude, and we'll do a recap. That's the day of the Direct Screw Winter Regional. So I'm going to run goblins there. It's going to be kind of my, the apex of all the testing. So yeah, let's talk about this. So week 2, I played a good amount of games. I want to say that my total games for week 2 ended up being, got some bad words in there. Week 2 total games ended up being 18 different games. I started out with deck 1.3, which was a finishing up at the end of week 1. This deck felt decent, but not fantastic. It just didn't feel as impactful. And I had a ton of YouTube comments from, I forget whom it was, but they gave me a whole rundown of playing goblins at a recent event with like 90 plus people. Really appreciate that person. If you're watching again, I'm sorry I don't have your name pulled up. I meant to take a note of it and I forgot. But they're in my comments in the previous video. They're goated for the feedback because I really do appreciate it. So this deck just felt like it was lacking in impact. They said that Skirk Prospectors didn't really get there, and I kind of agree with that sentiment. They were very high on pile drivers. They just had a couple points of feedback that was really, really insightful for me. So I ended up making some modifications based on what they had said and began running through that. They recommended a sharpshooter in the sideboard, and I forget what the other piece was. Oh, Color of the Claw on the sideboard as well. I do want to note that, like, 1.3 here just felt it was lacking that impact, and I think this is a general concept with this deck. What I'm starting to come to terms with is this is a boom bust deck. You either go super hard, super fast, or that's your boom. You turbo out a couple of pile drivers with haste and you just run your opponent over, or you get the turn 1 lackey into a siege gang and they have no answer and they scoop. When that happens, it's fantastic. Really sick deck, really awesome when that happens. Now, the bust side of it is like everything else. And I understand there's people probably saying, screaming at their monitor right now, you can go into the late game, yada, yada, yada. And it's true. You can take goblins into the late game and probably squeak a win. But every single time that I do, I never feel like I'm ever on the front foot or have the correct answers in my deck. And that's something I personally hate. This deck, as someone mentioned in the comments previously on the previous video, is extremely punishing. If you make a wrong play, it could cost you the game, no matter if it seems inconsequential or not. And I agree with that. So the way that I'm kind of looking at this deck, now that I've played it some 50 plus times, I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, yeah, when it high rolls, it's great. But when you don't high roll and you have to play out the game, you're always at a disadvantage, like 24/7. You're never on the front foot. You know what I'm saying? So that's where my issues kind of come from, at least, where it's like, yeah, if you high roll, it's fantastic. But if they answer that or you don't high roll, then you're playing the whole game from the back foot. And I just don't like that. When I play something like my version of Deck Gael, is it the best deck ever? Probably not. Definitely not, actually. But when I come out from game 1 into game 2, I have a sideboard that feels like I can now tangle and have answers against pretty much any deck in the format, with a couple of exceptions. Goblins feels the opposite. Like, Pyroblast Reb is sick, but not really that great in this deck. If they Hydroblast your lackey and you Pyroblast it, they normally go okay, and then they follow it up with something else, like a Chain of Vapor or something or if it's a blue-white deck, which, as you'll see from the stats here in a moment, there is a ton of blue-white I played against, and man, oh god, does it make me hate testing. But regardless, this deck doesn't feel like once you get past that very early explosive period and you have to get in and actually play the game from like late early through on, you just never feel like you're ever on the front foot. And I really, really, really disdain that. I had someone explain this as more of a tempo deck, and I've been trying to play it like a tempo deck. Look at opening hand, see where I'm at. You know, if I don't know the matchup and I'm in the blind, say, all right, this is probably going to run out to be more of an aggro match or yada yada. Or, okay, we're going to be sitting into more of a control role. Let me drop Mountain. Let me drop my Rishadan port and let me start porting them down as I begin to develop my board, etc., or develop my hand and shape it and yada yada. I began to do that and I just didn't see good results. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, this has been a painful journey for me. I play other decks and I begin recording, you know, I'm still recording content. So I'm recording other decks playing and like super fun, like really enjoyable. But like this one just feels like I pick it up and I'm like, oh, I got to do some Goblin testing today. So I don't know. But the recommendations made to me made the deck feel better. I haven't performed better, as you'll show in a second, but I ended up with a full grip of pile drivers and fanatics. I added a tinker to the main board, which is really nice against certain like pit rack strategies and can be very good against Stifle Knot and what have you. And just kind of tuned up the sideboard then. I dropped the Zuron Orbs, which was a correct, you know, read against Burn, which I do believe they are good against Burn. Or Sly, whatever you want to call it. Burn comes to my brain. But at the same time, I'd rather have a second sharpshooter to try and take people down when I need to take them down. Or Collar of the Claw for playing against wipes. So Collar of the Claw also just banger artwork. I'm going to put that out there. But yeah, it's pretty much the same deck. Couple of swaps here or there. I'm not 100% sure if this is the correct build or not, but it feels better. The issue is it hasn't produced good results. So you are all looking at, this is Microsoft Excel 2007. I apologize to everybody, but this is what I have on my computer. So I did a ton of work and I started building out pivot tables for this. So I did some macro groupings or what have you, with win percentages based on like overall high end. Like Brew has a ton of stuff in it. So there's a ton of stuff that might be more meta relevant, but I just put it into Brew. Like you got Pit Rock, which I've been getting cooked against, Fantasy Gators, but regardless, Brew is in the other area. We have a bunch of different archetypes here, and we'll talk about more of these in a moment, but I've played against a ton of Standstill recently and gotten destroyed by it. I've played against a decent amount of Stifle Knot, gotten pretty well cooked by it. I'm not good against the Rock, which we'll discuss in a little while as well. If we hop on over to deck version 1.3 here, this is what we played against. We did 10 total matches, ended up with a 40% win rate, split the Rock, lost to Terrageddon, dropped two matches to Stifle Knot. One was straight Knot, one was Knot tied. I ended up beating Sly. I beat Feb, which was in the video that I posted. Didn't even know it was Feb. Never played against that. Lost to Bruise and beat that guy. Aloran combo felt very good against us, and there was this crazy red mud deck that just absolutely shredded us. So 1.3 definitely felt like it was a bit lacking, but then we slide on over here to 1.4, and it actually posts worse numbers. So we played against some sweet brews. By the way, these brews are sick. Pit Rock looks like it's a ton of fun, right up my alley. Huge fan of that. Blue-black discard, we did beat Bant Beast Attack. Yeah, that is so sick. And we also played against the coolest blue auras deck. But regardless, we dropped the match to Sly. We got absolutely just tossed over by Standstill. I don't even know how we won this one. Let me double check real quick. I don't remember ever beating Standstill. Loss. Okay, so maybe I did actually end up beating them at some point. I guess I did get them on a single W. But regardless, that matchup feels atrocious. So yeah, really, really bad. If you want to look at everything on the macro, let me just pull up. Also, let me quickly just make sure that I refresh everything. Let me look at week here. Overall, for the second week, we are at a 39% win rate. That's painful. Like, you just feel bad. We're getting cooked versus Bruce. Like, I don't know. I don't know, everyone. I'm sorry. I'm not here to hate on your favorite deck. I just don't feel like this deck is good, and I don't know why. I think it might just be me, but I got some splits of wins by row labels and all sorts of things, but I do have a macro. I kind of built like a pseudo dashboard. Again, I wish there were splicers, but there isn't in this. So I have a win percent by deck version. Started out straight split, dropped down to 30% with my version, 1.2, which was like the black red version at a 60%, but I had a huge amount of wins against blue green madness, which kind of skewed the data there. 1.3 to 40%, and I'm currently sitting at 38.46 with 1.4, which is our most current version. I'm actually getting worse with the deck as time progresses. 50% here, 44% previously, again, partially skewed by 1.2, but still, and 38.89% in week 2. I mean, I'm posting less than 40% win rate. Like, how insane is that? What am I doing wrong? That's what I don't get. Like, is it my sample size? Is it me? What is it? I don't know. But regardless, we also have here win by parent deck percentages. So this shows our splits versus all the major decks. Some decks we haven't beaten. Some decks we have beaten but haven't done well. So yeah, overall, just not feeling great on this deck. I have some fun stats down here as well. I've played against a ton of blue-white. I've played against a good amount of black-green as well. And Bant as well has showed up quite a few times. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, everyone. Like, two-color decks are dominating. I'm getting dominated by them. I don't know. I really don't know what to say. Duress Crew as well. Let me quickly pull them up. So Duress Crew, which I'll link down below for everybody. This is a fantastic thing they put together here. But they have a data visualization tool for all the major matchups in the format. Goblins is sitting at a 51.2%. So overall, 51.2%. And then my overall is sitting at, let's see. Where am I at currently on this pivot? I am at 39. No. I don't gotta disrespect myself that bad. 43%. It's just going to be 43%. So this is kind of a quick overview of where everyone is at in the meta. So this is what they have on their website for win percentages of elves versus these decks. We are not looking great. We are much lower on Sly than we should be. We don't have any elves data. Terrageddon, we've only played once and we lost. Node, Groatog data. Red Green Oath, we did beat, only played them once, so it's slightly skewed. Replenish, we have a 0% win against both green white and white black, white blue, 0-2 total. Black white control, we're right on the dot, so we're playing that correctly. Haven't played against Enchantress, but it's supposed to be a good matchup. Blue green madness, we've cooked quite a bit. That was with the black red version, so it's a little bit different, but they didn't differentiate their data, so we're looking good there. Blue Knot is not a favorable matchup for us, but it's been very unfavorable for us. Just in general, we've been playing against, I believe that this data for mine came from just general Stifle Knot. Yeah. Against Blue Knot, we are 0-1. So I count any of the knots. I count all the knots. Rock Survival, we were supposed to have a 53.3%. We have a 33% against just Rock. Just straight up. I don't know what to tell anyone. I really don't. This right here is my most concerning statistic. We're supposed to have a favorable matchup, and we're 1-3 right now. I mean, that's like terrible. It actually like hurts my ego a little bit to like a certain extent. Like I might just bad at Magic. That's what I'm legitimately thinking. I don't win that much. That's fine. I'm not playing top meta decks often and stuff. But Goblins is supposed to be a tier 1 deck. Why is it performing like a tier 2.5 for me? Am I just bad with it? Stand still, whatever you want to call it. We're 25% against. We're very unfavored in that matchup. We're 2-5, but we're currently at 1-4. So yeah, land still. I hate that deck. I hate all variations of blue white currently outside of white weenie, or blue white weenie. if I have to continually play against Parallax Replenish or Blue White Standstill, I might just like go insane. It's such a boring deck. It just answers everything. They always have it. If you play a turn 1 Lackey on the play, they always have a Swords. Doesn't matter. No ifs, ands, or buts. They're going to have it. So yeah, I could sit here and complain about it, but I'm not going to. We played Psychotog once, so we're 100%, so not really accurate, and we lost to Stasis once, which is supposed to be extremely favored, but I was piloting, so we got a 0% in that category. We are overall, let's see. Let me actually take this. So this is supposed to be 51.2, and this is 43%. Okay, let me quickly hop into here, get rid of this. Actually, let's just straight up see. Can I actually just rip this directly from the pivot tables right here? Span this out. How far below baseline are we? We are 7.8% below where everybody else is. What am I doing wrong? That's my biggest question. Regardless of anything, what am I doing wrong? And I really just like don't know at this point. Sometimes I play loose, I guess, you know, I'm testing for a while. If it's my like 4th game in a row or whatever, I'll play a little loose. But just game after game after game, I just don't seem to get any better. I mean, statistically speaking, I'm actually getting worse. So what do I do? That's where I'm at a loss. I have my playtest video up. I need to record against some people who are like true top meta decks, I guess. I don't know. I just don't think that I'm good with this deck. I don't think this is a deck for me. I'm just going to be honest to everyone. And that's kind of why you're seeing me descend into madness after all this, because as I'm continuing to play and continue to try and get the matchups, I'm actually doing worse. But I don't know, everyone. I hope someone here has a point of perspective for me that'll help me out. Maybe some kind of words of wisdom. I don't know. But what I can tell you is I need to continue to play this deck. I signed up for this project thinking I'd love it. I'm kind of going insane with it. But at the same time, I think there's value to doing something that you hate, or not. I wouldn't call it hate, but something that you really don't like or something you're not good at. It lets you understand it. It lets you struggle. I think struggling is a big part of life in a positive and negative manner. And I'm okay with this struggle. Like, this is one that I decided to take on, and I'm gonna see it through, not as long as I initially assumed, and I will take, you know, the L on that front. But I do think that testing this for a long period of time, whether it's good, whether I'm good or bad with it, lets me understand the deck a bit better and what matters. And also helps me overcome like my own mental barriers that I might put down. So I don't know, but what I do know is I'm gonna be tossing up this deck. I'm gonna take 1.4 at the 38.46% into the coming Premodern League, and I'm going to run through there and see how it performs against just random decks that are being played in the league. If it posts a crazy good win result, I will be absolutely shocked. Those videos will be recorded, but I'm going to be trying to play extremely tight. So I'm going to have limited commentary. I just want to be upfront with that. But yeah, I want to give this deck its proper day. This deck is obviously good. It obviously wins. There's just something wrong with like how I think or how I play or how I view it. I don't know. In my hands, this deck is like, you're looking at a 6. You're looking at really like a 3 in 5 chance of beating me against just in general. I'm at 38.89%. So yeah, I'm hoping to pull up the 1.4 numbers and just get to a better position. I do want to note as well, like, this is my sideboard guide for anybody who's curious. If you want to take a screenshot and like give me feedback, that would be great. I can zoom in probably one more time and still have everything that's primary in here. So this is what I've been running off of. This has been kind of, sometimes I'll feel it out based on what I'm playing, but yeah, this has been my general concept against what I need to play against. And then down here as well, I have like white, blue, black, red, green, just generalized, but I don't have this stuff frozen, so I do apologize. But yeah, the Goblin Guide has been a tough one for myself. Also, check out this DXC Project Metagame. The rest crew are huge homies. Don't know them super well, but I go to their events and they seem like fantastic guys. So show them some love, follow them. I'll put the link down below for this website. Super rad, give it a look. Great info if you like Premodern. But yeah, overall, everyone, I am disheartened and a bit distrodden, but I'm going to still run it. I'm still going to give it an honest shot. I'm going to play hard, and I'm going to try and play clean. So I hope we're able to see some good results in this coming league, but I can't promise it, and I'm honestly not that confident. But let me know your thoughts down below, everyone. I love reading the comments. Probably one of my most commented videos ever was the last one, and I really enjoy that because people tell me what I suck at or just give me general feedback. It's what I want. I want people to tell me what I did wrong. Please do. Don't be afraid of backseat gaming ever or whatever. Just give me a timestamp so I can look at it. And I'll be like, well, dang, you know, like, you're right. Or I'll argue with you and say, hey, I did this because of X, Y, and Z. And that's just a debate of logic. And that's okay. I'm never mad at anyone. You know, it's cool. I'll be mad at you if you play Blue White Standstill, though. But yeah, this has been 3-2 Brew on the Project Goblin Guide. I hope everybody enjoyed, and until next time, cheers.